You know, studies have shown time and time again that women claim to care more about climate change, but don't actually want to make the necessary changes to help solve the problem.
I was telling my wife the other day, there's no need for us to be doing the dishes daily or showers, as that emits up to 109 kilograms of carbon a year.
And that's assuming she's in there for a reasonable amount of time.
The other day, Rebecca came to me and said, Tom, I'm going to work. I need you to do the laundry and the dishes.
Why don't you just cut down a tree while you're at it?
You know, and I said exactly that. And then the moment she left, I went into that hamper. I took this shirt out of there, put it back on. I used this left sleeve to wash the dishes, killing two birds with one stone, obviously metaphorically and not literally.
Last week, I'm taking the wife to the park for her annual birthday picnic, and we're already in a bit of a tiff because she doesn't see eye to eye with me on my no flushing policy. And about 15 minutes into waiting for that bus, I see her trying to call an Uber.
Does she not know that a vehicle emits up to 5 metric tons of CO2 a year?
I knocked the BlackBerry out of her hand, and during the struggle, the box of cereal I'm bringing for her birthday dinner goes everywhere. And then instead of helping me pick it up and put it back in the box, she runs inside and calls an even further Uber to her mom's house with no regard for the Earth's rising temperatures.
That's sickening, but you do bring up a good point, because when I instituted a no vacation policy to reduce our footprint, Rebecca threatened to leave me before throwing my binder of coupons out of the window in a fit of rage.
Where I come from, that's called littering, but it's hypocrisy at its finest. On one hand, they claim to care about emissions, but then bring up the idea of getting married for the 13th year in a row, knowing that by holding that ceremony, you might as well be strangling an endangered leatherback sea turtle with your bare hands.
And if you plan to have kids, you'll be strangling a few more, which is why I threw out all of her credit cards, because you know what I say, plastic is murder.
Now, let me ask you a quick question about those coupons. Have they been located, or are they still out and about?
Oh, I found them, but it took me quite a while.
The boys. It's the BOYSCAST. The lads. It's the BOYSCAST. The dudes. Prepare yourself for BOYSCAST. The bros. It's the BOYSCAST. The homies. It's the BOYSCAST. The dudes. Experience the BOYSCAST.
The BOYSCAST, before we got into it. Okay, here's this clip.
Early this year, I came out as gay to my husband, soon to be ex, and he had the sweetest and most amazing reaction, and this is what he said. What did you say?
I said that I was so proud of you, and that was the bravest thing I've seen anyone do.
And
this is a man that did not want to be in a relationship.
I got a golden ticket.
That's literally you go. Yeah, my prayers have worked to God.
Yeah, there's a vision board.
Oh, really? You're gay, huh? That's crazy. A gay woman?
He was just about to murder her.
Yeah.
He has a knife. Oh, good. Calling off the hitman. Yeah.
Yeah, is it too late to call the hit off? The hardest part about with that would be just holding in how happy you are.
I know.
You go,
No, you'd be sweating it though with the amount that chicks change. Like you're like the divorce proceedings are going through, and you're like, I hope she doesn't switch back to straight. Like,
And then she's got
3 weeks and
that's
calls off the divorce.
She pulls the camera out though. You're just like, one more video. That video, you can just imagine making that last video where you just like, the minute she presses end, this is over.
Oh man.
I was loving that though, because people were posting it, and she's just like so happy that he was nice to me when I came out of the closet. It was like, that guy was legitimately probably every single day as you were watching all, and you know exactly who she is, that she's making a big stink of coming out of the closet.
This ain't her first TikTok. That's for sure. He's been in a lot of TikToks. This guy's like, we're breaking up, and this is my last TikTok.
He even said, he even goes, I'm so proud of you. And that's the bravest thing I've ever seen. Because he just drained.
More brave than I was the last 2 years sticking this out.
Not killing myself. That's bravery.
No more biting my tongue.
Shit. We got Colum Tyrrell in the studio with a new special. Go check it out at youtube.com/Colum Tyrrell.
That's exactly it. Yeah, yes. Please.
And I've got also a big announcement that I'm going to make before, because I've been sort of saying forever that I might be coming to the UK.
Whoa.
And finally, it's going to be happening in January, and the tickets are going on sale on next Wednesday. London, Antwerp, Amsterdam, Copenhagen, Oslo, Stockholm, and then also the New York shows that sold out at a theater. So thank you everyone for that. Then we have Tacoma, Vancouver, Kansas City, Omaha, Edmonton, Los Angeles, Irvine, San Jose, Phoenix, Toronto, Perrysburg, Columbus, Liberty, Dallas, Baltimore, Winnipeg, San Diego. Let's go everywhere,
man. I've been everywhere, man.
And Danny, you have a fucking weekend coming up, right?
No, that was last week.
Woo! Woo!
And Danny's got big stuff going on. Tune in next week, and Danny's got some big stuff going on.
Woo!
That was quite the list.
Oh yeah, I guess they can't come to New York, but are you going to come to do a spot in the New York show?
Of course.
Okay, sick.
Wow.
So
But of course.
for those who can do it, if anyone's on the Patreon and it's sold out in New York, hit me up, and I've like saved a few spots that I can give people if anyone's in New York for that.
Can I also just mention September 20th, Helium Comedy Club, Philadelphia. Come on down to that. That's going to be a good one.
Come on down. And this is a good one to have Colum in for because, well, anyone's a good one to have Colum in
Yes.
for. However, you and Jimmy, so Jimmy Fallon, there's a big news from
boy.
Jimmy Fallon.
JF, yeah.
And then you and him are pretty tight.
Yes.
Jimbo.
You guys have obviously know I appeared on the Tonight Show.
We heard,
yeah.
Obviously everyone knows that.
That's what people.
everybody watches the Tonight Show.
People right now are
everybody
going,
saw you on it.
People right now are going, that's where I know him from.
Right.
That's where do I know it?
Our audience mostly watches the Tonight Show reruns. Right now, some people have come over to the BOYSCAST because, with all this drama, we're wondering what's going to happen with Strike Force 5. Obviously, is the first thing.
Luckily, they have 18 episodes in the can.
Sure.
Yeah.
When I heard they said there's a scandal that Fallon might be mean, I was just like legitimately sat in my basement. I was like, don't panic. They're probably still doing Strike Force 5. This is just going to be a glip. But actually, you know what we should say before that? Danny sent me this late last night, but you know how the submarine guy, the guy that died in the submarine, and we were talking to his stepson and all that sort of stuff.
Yes.
Anyway, this is what a bunch of people tagged us in last night.
Yeah,
because he's wild on Twitter, audio guy, and he just posted, "I need an attorney. Allegedly, I got caught up in a prostitution ring setup."
It's a wild man.
You could have just said I need an attorney and then left the rest of that information to the phone call. Why did he include that?
He got caught up in a sting, dude. The submarine guy's also going down.
Yeah, you're like, Twitter's not the best place to source attorneys, by the way. You can just go call one.
I got caught up
phone book or the internet.
I don't know. Maybe it's not true, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Anyways, I just had to mention
He's a wild
that.
man, yeah.
Because we got tagged in it a bunch.
All-time biggest bummer. Imagine being the guy who got caught with, when they do those stings on a brothel or whatever, you just happen to be one of the...
Robert Kraft.
Robert Kraft was the OG.
Kraft,
Yeah.
He got popped at a rubbing tub.
What are the odds, though? What are the odds that happens to you? Because then it's like... Does it get out?
I think in New York there's all this stuff where they're so sex friendly or whatever, you know what I mean, that they probably high five you for doing it. But there's other places in the world where you're like done, bud. I would say your odds, if you go how many prostitutions happen and how many someone gets stung, I would say you'd say 1 in 10,000.
Yeah.
Is that probably fair? So if you go 10,000 times, you're pushing it.
yeah, you're rolling the dice.
But I think right now, if you got caught like a rub and tug, it would at the most you'd be like, yeah, okay.
There's got to be some legal sort of, I didn't know, I thought it was a massage parlor.
Yeah.
There's got to be some sort of...
I feel like
that's what happened in The Fresh Prince. They thought they were just Uncle Phil hurt his back on Thanksgiving, and then they just thought they were at a massage place.
You are right though with that. It's obviously you're going to say that, but I guess these stings a lot of times are happening in hotel rooms.
Just a massage and hotel.
If you're gonna rub and tug, I do think you have culpable deniability at the tugs, unless they walk in mid tug.
Or it's it's all wired up and they just caught you with the transaction when they're
they caught you paying for the extra.
Oh, well, the negotiation.
Well, honestly, at the end of the day, what's the difference between massaging your leg and massaging your penis?
That's what I've been saying. Yes, to my masseuse.
It's very few. That's what I say on Twitter.
That's what I've been saying to the chiropractor as well.
I need an attorney. I think this is a good angle.
you're touching a part of my body. It's just, what are we doing here?
It just happens to feel wonderful.
That's sort of funny because like it does go back to the difference between we were sort of saying when Strike Force 5, their new podcast came out, like that
new podcast.
They're hit new podcast, but the reason it stinks is because you go, that cuck shit doesn't really fly in the podcasting world. You know what I mean? Where you're just like, I'm going to be a bitch on every take. Like, I'm going to basically talk.
There's no takes. I've listened to it. They don't have any takes. It's worse than no takes.
They're all waiting for the other one.
They're just like sitting there on a Zoom call and they're like, so what have you been getting up to? And Jimmy Fallon's like, or Jimmy Kimmel was like, I went fishing. And then Stephen Colbert's like, did you ever invite Jimmy Fallon to your fishing? And he goes, and Jimmy's like, no, I've never been invited.
Oh, it's like guys that haven't seen each other in a while, like catching up at a wedding, sort of, maybe. But their wives are there too. You know what it is? That's what it's like. It's like guys that haven't seen each other in a while. They were never really that good of friends to begin with. They're catching up at a serious situation, like a funeral. All their chicks are there, and people are paying attention.
Yeah, and then they're like, and this is brought to you by Casamigos, very good tequila, and they're helping us pay for the. They don't really talk about the writer's strike. At one point, there was a 20-minute story about Stephen Colbert had a famous man's pair of pants.
Okay,
and he just talked about how he got the pants. And then Jimmy Kimmel's like, Jimmy Kimmel's like, you know what? When I was a kid, I saw Sammy Davis Jr. shopping for pants. I'm telling you, this is the show. I'm not even exaggerating. Like, this is the fucking show.
These guys,
they're not like, they're talking about Joe Biden getting impeached. None of that
Obviously. Shit. If these guys don't have writers, they are lost. They are empty vessels just waiting for words to be given to them. They have they just sort of, because they're all like, it's a skill. It's like a genuine skill to be that unopinionated or ever.
That's true.
Yeah. They're like, if you ask them, any of them, where's your favorite vacation spot? They'd be like, they calculate something that's like perfectly just.
Yeah, nobody's gonna get mad at them.
Yeah, can't say somewhere too expensive. Can't say somewhere too dumpy.
Yeah.
I like going back to my parents' house.
I haven't listened. Actually, I listened to a bit of this episode too.
Well, I'm sure it's the #1 podcast in the world right now.
It's probably the most viewed ever.
I mean, it's hugely famous people. There's so much push, and then also a big part of the charts is how many people signed up recently. You know what I mean? So new podcasts always kind of have.
It is funny though. They don't really. I think like they know it's so shit, and I think the main deal is that like the money because the whole point is they're getting money for the writers, and I think all that money is like guaranteed from like Casamigos. So now they're like really phoning it in. Like, sure, there's maybe some auxiliary ad revenue, but I don't really think it like if it blows up, like I don't think the writers get that much more money. So they're like they're not even promoting it. Like they're not like it's not like fucking Jimmy Kimmel's like new episode of Strike Force 5 out today. Like none of that.
Who asked for this? Who pitched it? Who came up with this? I thought they were all enemies anyway.
Probably the lowest one of them all. Who are that?
Seth Meyers.
Meyers.
I thought they all hated each other, right? Sure.
I think that's all. I hate to burst his bubble. That's a little wrestling.
Yeah, that's a little kayfabe there. I don't think that's true.
I'll tell you another thing. These Democrats and Republicans are buddies behind the scene too. Like, we're fucking talking about it. No.
Fuck the CNN hate each other.
Donald Trump was at Chelsea Clinton's wedding.
AOC and fucking Ted Cruz are at brunch right now as we speak. But the funny part was. This is sort of the reason I was even saying that was how different it is. It was like those are the different things that you get canceled for in that industry. You know what I mean? Like in this thing, it's like it's like this guy went on an N-word tirade. You know what I mean? In that industry, it was like this guy's a fucking bit of a jerk to the employees, right?
Yeah.
So I'll just read the thing. Fallon, his charm and creativity were on full display, and then there was bad Jimmy days where, according to the former employees, the Tonight Show had a toxic workplace for years, and the staffers joked about wanting to kill themselves regularly. They had crying rooms. The crying rooms are amazing. Yeah. That's where they would go to let out their emotions. I don't know if it was kind of a joke, but it still does. So this is Ellen got busted for being mean. Jimmy Fallon got busted for being mean. And by the way, I know he's your buddy. I would say Jimmy Fallon's the best one of those guys.
Probably. So. Yeah, he's a little bit more flavor.
Well, he just hasn't been like that annoying to me. Like he just laughs too much, or like his,
That's
whatever.
all he kind of does. He kind of like
he's just like a goofy guy or whatever.
Even talking to him, you're just like, hey, and he's kind of like, yeah.
Oh, even when you went in the pre-interview?
Yeah, like afterwards, he kind of just like, hey, yeah, and he like ask a question, and he kind of just like nothing there. He's just sort of
interesting.
Just sort of like he met my girl too, and he was kind of like, oh, hey, good to Like he wouldn't say like nice to meet you or anything like that. It's kind of like just okay. So I feel like he has dementia, and just like the people are just waddling him around, and he's just like,
yeah, he just gets carted out.
Dude, yeah, next thing you know, he's like doing the hokey pokey with fucking Matt Damon or something. It's like crazy. It's just like he's gonna wake up one day just like, what was that? That was just a whirlwind of.
That was a weird 20 years.
Just a montage of banging the desk and laughing at nothing.
That's so true.
He's so good at it.
Yeah, because you're probably like in your room, just like so nothing, and then they're like, go time. It's like potato sack with Danny DeVito. Yeah. We just have to like fucking
egg and spoon race with Miley Cyrus. It's like why are we doing this?
We're doing a karaoke competition with Nancy Pelosi.
By the way, crying room's so funny. Imagine walking out of the crying as a guy. Imagine walking out of the crying room and then there's just people see you. You're like, I just having a bit of crying there, fellas.
I mean, it makes.
Sorry, just hitting up the cry room, but just whack it off.
Yeah, because Jimmy said that our jokes were bad.
Just some guy lying. I'm hitting the crying room and he's just like on his phone for 20 minutes. Boo!
Splash a little water on his face.
There's gotta be. Was there any genders revealed about these?
Obviously, it was on all the.
Well, this is the kind of thing that. So you 100% right. Duh, that's like a big part of it. But you actually do think there is something to be said about, like, if you think all the stories about the old late night hosts, it was like they were basically like a boss on a construction site.
Yeah,
it's just like you hear like this guy fucking tore me a new one, but those were all male writers.
Yeah.
Yes,
exactly.
Yes, it was an industry standard.
Yes, like writers weren't women before. So my point is, obviously, it's the girls, kind of created like in a more safe environment. But that being said, I also do say if you are a boss, it is a little bit different tearing a woman a new one.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like bullying almost in a way, isn't it?
Just with employees. If you run a store and you tear and fucking the dude, you're like, what the fuck are you doing? You're like, what's wrong with you? Like, but if you say that to a girl, like, it is just different.
You're screaming at some guy, you're a moron.
I would never do
because
that.
women cry.
Yeah.
Because you know a guy's not going to cry. A guy might be like, you want to fucking fight or something? But like a guy's not going to cry.
She starts dangling.
Whereas like, that a girl, you're like, if you keep going, she's going to start crying.
I know.
And then
she starts dangling the crying room key.
Oh,
you know to zip it up.
You're a ding-a-ling-a-ling. Yeah, like Pavlovian's bell.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I take it back. Sorry, no, be as late as you want. No, you're right. Forget about the deadlines I set.
It is wild though that they started hiring like all these just like different women writers and stuff, and then the shows started to get really bad.
You know
what's that? No.
Do you know what's even funnier?
It's like Freakonomics.
This whole chapter. It goes, it's weird. The moment they hired their first non-binary writer, that's when this massive drop happens. We charted it out in laughs
wild
per minute.
theory.
The ratings just went boop, like a fucking elevator shaft breaking.
Also, the host got a lot meaner.
Yeah, exactly. The host instantly got meaner.
She's like, he used to be a good guy, and then all of a sudden, no complaints, and then I don't know what. All of a sudden, overnight, everyone started complaining about how mean he was.
Wow.
Well, you know what's actually even funnier? Because the truth is, like, we know a million people that write on these shows, right? Mm-hmm. And it's the weirdest mix right now because it really is like cool black guys and like non-binary women. Like,
yeah.
Because you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It really is like every show. How many times you're at like a comedy club and a guy's doing like a, when you be fucking your girl, and then he's like, yeah, this guy's the head writer of Seth Meyers. Like, what the fuck?
And there's like also the 3 old white guys that are just like clinging on for dear life.
And then 3 old white guys.
Who've been there forever, and they're just like they have no job prospects after whenever this thing ends. Yeah, like nobody's gonna.
No, it's true because those are the guys that like they would let Fallon yell at them. That's why they're there. They're the guy that like Fallon comes in, their hair is blowing back in the wind as he yells at them. Just like there's a wind machine. Yes, sir. Like they're just taking it. The white guys are gluttons for punishment, man.
Just get coffee splashed in their face and stuff. They're like, good aim, Jim. Yeah, I deserve that.
They're the type of guy that he slaps him, he misses, he gives himself one just to...
My bad, I shouldn't have been so hard to hit, James. Yeah, you're. They love it. Meanwhile, all these girls.
He
said, "Good job." He didn't say, "Great job."
I mean, running one of those shows, as much as we talk shit about it, it's like would be crazy hard. Like you're doing a fucking hour and a half a day. You got 1 million people, so yeah, you can imagine.
How hard they talked about it. There's guess how many employees the Tonight Show has total?
30, 40,
60.
302.
Wow.
What the fuck? They have the crying room janitor, the pillow supplier.
Dude, they have over 300 people that are required to crank out an episode of the Tonight Show.
So much real estate caught up in crying rooms.
They're not all like that. I can't remember. I think Seth Meyers said he was like in the 80 or something, or John Oliver or something. But like,
okay, well I take it back then.
It's 300 people.
It's been going for years, and it is a well-oiled machine. Like you get in there, everyone's running around like the man in the Titanic.
Yeah, because they're all pretending to work. There's 300 of them.
That's fair.
Yeah, they're all like, this is what we need to be running around all like busybodies, because otherwise people are gonna be like, what do you do?
It's probably hard for Fallon to get a yell into all of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Man, he doesn't even know who to yell. He's like, who's like,
does this guy work here? Yeah, you're fucking up.
I can't even imagine him yelling. Like I can't even imagine that coming out of him.
It probably like wasn't that crazy.
I don't think
it's just like he's probably like it wasn't that. And again, he's the face of the whole thing. So like some writer can just like mail in a bunch of shitty jokes all week. It's like they're not really affected. They're probably like if it's some non-binary chick, they can't even fire them. So then you're like, it's just him who's just looks.
Well,
bad.
changing someone, like getting someone on board of like a comedy vision's really hard, and you probably doesn't have a lot of time for essentially training. So I guess you get to the point where you're like, maybe if I yell, that'll help or something.
Yeah, because they're on a deadline. They're rehearsing during the day. They're trying to get you to fix things, and then they keep messing up. I watched the rehearsal. It was, by the way, when I was there for the show, one of the best environments of all time.
Yeah.
Everyone that went with me, too. From the second you walk into the end, we watched the whole rehearsals. We were hanging out, doing all this stuff. It was like the nicest place ever. It seemed like incredible place to work. We were just like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
Food trays, like all this stuff.
Maybe they hide the criers in the back, but where I was seemed great.
Yeah, it's 17 employees too. I mean, you know what else is true? While they were there, like that's the other thing with these kind of jobs, like they're so hard to get, and there isn't that many of them, right? So like, while they're there, there's probably a little bit of like, holy shit. Like now that they're, not working there or whatever, they have time to think. You know what I mean? And that's when you have time to stew. And this is the like, your boyfriend went on like a trip after a week, 2 weeks. Now he's been gone for 4 months. You're like, kind of, he's a piece of shit if you think about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're so removed from the whole thing.
That is so weird that they come out while they're on strike. They're like, the show's not on. And they're like, we should do a fucking hit piece to maybe make sure that the show doesn't come back.
On our boss.
Well, that's all she does. That journalist, by the way, that's all she does is hit pieces. That's like her type of journalism.
Yeah, it's the worst type of journalism.
Stupid hit pieces. But I think everyone agreed, though, as long as there's no like physical or sexual assault, harassment, no one really cares. It's like you're allowed to be mean. No one said he's not. What the fuck? Do your job better. I don't know
exactly.
what.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
Well, I mean, also, it's like you sort of. It's up to you're just trying different things probably as a boss, because a lot of times you're like, okay, you do want to have like a fun environment. So maybe if you're mean too much and it makes it less fun, you kind of now you tweak it the other way.
Yeah.
And then usually being mean is like a last string. Like as anyone who's probably running any sort of like comedy production, if you're like yelling at people, that's because you're like, I don't know what else to fucking try.
Yes. Yeah.
Like this isn't working.
For sure.
Like on a construction site, you're probably more like, hell, okay, that's what. When you've worked on a construction site, right? Was there crying booths or how did that work?
There was fist fights. There was fist fights regularly in construction, and then you would just go back to work. No one would be suspended. It was kind of like a toxic environment.
Yeah.
Like, that was a proper toxic environment where they would be screaming at you. I remember.
Probably what Carson was like. It's probably what the writers' room and Johnny Carson was like. They just all fucking
you just get used to it. You're a moron. That's screaming at each other is just like it's part of the industry.
Yeah,
kitchen's gonna. I like that too, right?
Ed McMahon puts a cigar out on your arm or something, and then you go back to work.
Well, that's what now. Obviously there is a bit of like you can get clout by writing the article about it, but I don't know if any of these people are getting any buzz off of being one of 17. Probably the first person was like, I'm going to be the guy that's like, the Kurt always called the Ellen one nice gate, but someone was like, I'll be the first person, the face of this story that takes down Jimmy Kimmel, and then they're like, no, you're one of 17, and they're like,
did they actually?
I put my fucking name out there on the line.
Were their names actually released?
I think they went anonymous.
Didn't even get a photo of me in the thing.
That's the thing. They're not that. They know their real worth because they would never actually put their names on it because they know like, oh, there's no like I'm not going to level up here because doing this where sometimes you might like in this.
Well, they want to know something interesting. So I read this this article with recently because they were basically doing a Netflix doc on Louis C.K. right, and it was going to be how there was basically kind of these like full expose docs coming out on Netflix quite a bit, right? And the one on Louis, all of the people that were like really publicly against him when it was like help them, all of them declined. So they basically said they had this doc and it like just premiered at a film festival or whatever, and there was supposed to be like 25, I don't know, probably names we all know, you know what I mean? The only one that was in it was like Jen Kirkman, and then there was like a bunch of people we know that were going to be like the face of this doc, but it took 2 years to cook. Louis kind of back in the mix. It's not really going to help your career.
He's not dying.
He's not.
Oh yeah, he needs
Don Carleone.
Yeah, he needs to be 6 feet under for them to
Don Carleone got shot, and then we all thought we were celebrating, and he lived. We're like, no.
I love Don Carleone.
We gotta have a sit down now.
The best Don.
And you're the guy that was going to be the face of like this new takedown that is not going to be a kill shot.
That's rich. The guy that's going to be the face of this.
Sure. But it was interesting because they all basically like backed out, which obviously this point's been made, but it does show that people only want to do it when it's beneficial career-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you think that Jimmy Fallon, out of protest, he just goes, if people want Mean Jimmy, I'll give you Mean Jimmy, just stops laughing? He's just sitting on the couch while Jennifer Aniston's like, and then I couldn't even find the Roomba. And he goes, that's interesting. He just goes full heel turn.
During his monologue, he just reads jokes. He goes, that really sucked.
Well, apparently he did one,
shit.
And then this is one of the things they were trying to kill him on, is they basically said that there was an awkward moment where he said one of the jokes were bad or something, and Seinfeld was there, and he goes, hey, take that back. You're right, I wrote that. Don't say that or whatever, right? And they go, even Jerry Seinfeld was on his side, and then in the article it goes, we reached out to Seinfeld for a comment. He goes. Are you guys serious? This is ridiculous. Like literally, he was joking and I was joking. And they included Seinfeld. Seinfeld was not having. He's pretty like based. Seinfeld doesn't have this shit.
Yeah.
They go, yeah, and you defended the writers. He goes, yeah, no, that's not what happened. We were both making a joke.
Yeah.
Like
idiots.
It's a comedy show. Crazy part
what's
is,
wrong with you people?
These shows are going to be gone for probably 6 months. Because when was the last time there was an episode of any of these? Months.
Honestly,
it's been months, right?
Years out.
It could be just the last time you were there.
Who's watching?
Whatever, but like they're gonna be gone for like a year, 10 months, and they're gonna be like, we're back now, and people are gonna, I don't know, there's some just like drooling, lobotomized fucking like subsection of the population who's like, welcome back. We missed you.
Someone's in it.
We missed you guys.
In their bed.
Like, I can't believe that their audience will return after.
Do you think
this.
there's any dudes that like know that that's how they shut their wife up? Like, and she's like, and another thing, he goes, oh, boop, 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 look it, and then they go, potato sack race.
Yeah, it's like a mirror for a bird type of thing. Whoa, distracted. Yeah. But I ask a lot of people, like, because I talk about doing the show on stage a lot, and I ask people in the audience who saw the show like live, not just because they follow me on social media. And I think in the year I've met 2 people. Maybe I was only one actually
that have watched.
She was like, I was genuinely watching the Tonight Show because I like it, and then you came on, and that's how I discovered you. Like, and I was like, you are fucking wild.
Yeah. Interesting.
Every night, like, this person watches the Tonight Show, and then I happen to be on it. And
how old is she?
40s, probably.
Question.
Yeah. That I guess kind of checks out.
Yes.
I can see 60
wild. Some people like it. Genuinely, there's people out there that like this.
I mean, if you're like in your 60s and you're like, I've been watching it forever since it was Johnny Carson, and it probably it did make sense at one point to watch it.
But I mean, the Colbert
no
thing,
options.
when Kimmel and Colbert got so political, though, it's like if you're gonna watch the like political takedown comedy show, like you'd probably just want to watch The Daily Show, and then eventually you'd just be like, let's just watch CNN.
Yeah.
Like, why don't you just cut out the fucking middleman? You know what I mean?
At least there's no bad jokes on CNN. They just don't do any jokes.
Yeah, it shouldn't be political. It's either goofy.
Well, The Daily
That's
Show
what Fallon's the best one.
It's dribble or it's not. So you can't have both. You know what I mean? You can't be like have an interview with Elmo and then also afterwards start talking about.
And with like YouTube, it just seems insane that if you're like your favorite actor is like you're like I love I don't know whatever fucking Kate Mara or whatever the fuck, and you're like she's doing an interview. You're like I'll just watch it tomorrow on YouTube instead of staying up till 12:30 on like a weeknight to watch this interview.
It's also sad that sometimes
I'll just watch it tomorrow.
Sometimes you see these people like it's like Miles Teller goes on the show and then they make him he has to make a sandwich or something, you know, whatever they make him do because he's promoting a blockbuster movie, and you go, it's I that's what happened when I was there, and I was like, is this? It's like scary, be like, you never get out.
Yeah.
Even Miles is here. Like the hottest, biggest actor in the world, arguably right now, the hottest shit, and then he's there doing some goofy stuff. Like you can't get out of it.
You still have to show up and do
even him has
the
to
pickle dripping competition.
Yeah, there must be some people like Leonardo DiCaprio was just like, I'm not doing that. Yeah, I'm done with that. Seinfeld's also
I think he was just like, he's not doing movies even.
Dude, that's it. I don't know. It seems like it's sad. Like they can't even get out of the machine.
No.
Boys, DraftKings Rainmakers Football is back for its second season, and it's bigger and better than ever before. Head to DraftKings.com/audio. Sign up to play Rainmakers today with the code BOYSCAST. You already know, for your share of over $30 million in prizes this football season. This week, new customers can claim their first pack of digital player cards for free to get started. Playing Rainmakers Football is simple. Each DraftKings digital card represents an athlete and scores points based on their real-world performance. You draft them into weekly contests for your shot at a share of $30 million in prizes, or you can sell them anytime on the DraftKings marketplace. Rainmakers contests require no fee to join as long as you got enough cards to compete a lineup. Rip packs, build your collection, earn big rewards. And if you're wondering how to get started, new customers just visit DraftKings.com/audio, AUDIO, today and use the promo code BOYSCAST to claim a free starter pack. Only at DraftKings.com/audio with the code BOYSCAST. If you got a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Age and eligibility restrictions apply. Rainmakers contest not available in certain states. One starter pack per customer. Starter pack player cards are ineligible for resale. And you see terms at DraftKings.com/Rainmakers. And you know what, the BOYSCAST, we're trying to get you fit. We're trying to get you in shape, which is why we're talking about Fitbod. You already know, me and Danny both been getting jacked out here.
Yes, sir. I use Fitbod almost every day of the week.
Are you going in 7 days a week now?
No, sorry, the work week.
I was like, no, I use out here.
No, I go Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. I use Fitbod
nice.
those 4 days, and it's honestly great. Like everybody knows who works out. That sometimes you get locked in this just kind of mundane, same old routine.
For
where
sure.
You just kind of do the same thing. There's no variety. Your muscles kind of start getting used to that, and it actually stops working as well because you just keep doing the same thing. So Fitbod just every day gives you just a new workout. So I have just like a gym in my building. I enter all the stuff I have in my gym, and it just spits out a new workout every day with the equipment that I have, right? It doesn't give you stuff that you don't have. So it's honestly great. I've been using it for like over a year now. It's awesome.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Fitbod creates custom workouts based on your goals, experience, available equipment, and more, based on your fitness habits, and stays consistent. Also, one thing I'll say, I don't even know if I should say this, but we get like the ads that are working, and the ones like a lot of these, all the like better yourself app, and all the all that kind of stuff is actually like performing well with our audience, which means the people are kind of into the same. It just means they're into the same shit we're into. Like really,
they are.
But yeah,
getting jacked up.
Fitbod's powerful technology understands your strength training ability, studies your past workouts, and adapts to your available gym equipment. So keep track of your achievements and personal bests with Fitbod's all-new progress tracking charts. It's never been easier to get the results you've always wanted. Check out Fitbod. You get 25% off your subscription at fitbod.me/boyscast. That is fitbod.me/boyscast. Well, it was mostly that other thing. So it was kind of just interesting to watch, like, the amount of like it's celebrities or they really kind of like comedians, all those people, it's like their takedowns don't seem to work anymore because none of their fans care. So that's why it's like the big one now was this week was like Jimmy Fallon's got to be taken down, Peg. Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis are getting fucking murdered. Which, do either of you guys kind of know the Danny Masterson stuff very well?
I read into it a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, what's going on? Because
basically, these women.
I'll tell you. Can I just say that? Because I'm just looking in, a lot of people are like Scientology, like really got behind his back, and they were sort of silenced and like we're turning the tap off on this story.
Yeah,
we're. Straight up, like what they would say is like intimidation tactics to victims. Like, for real?
Yeah.
And then some people are still of the mind that like, this is kind of, it didn't happen. It's all like a overblown conspiracy. Okay, so what is your actual?
I don't like. I didn't go super deep into it, but I read like a bunch of stuff from. So basically, they're saying he drugged all these women and like raped them in like the early 2000s, which is weird, just because he was like. Everybody said he was the most anti-drug guy. Like he was literally every person who on that 70s show was like his whole deal was that he's like, I'm against drugs. Like, don't do drugs.
It's weird to be on a 70s show with that attitude.
But he's like, because he was the older one, I guess, the oldest one of all of them, and he's like, if you do drugs, like we're not friends.
What?
Yeah, like, and literally he's like, I'm not friends with people who do drugs. So all the people on that
I didn't know that part about
So
him.
all the people on that show, the only person who didn't write him a letter, I guess, was like Topher Grace or whatever. But
who's that one?
He was Eric Foreman.
Yeah, he didn't.
So Fez wrote him a letter? He's a big star of NCIS right now.
Maybe Fez didn't write him a letter either, actually. I don't know. Maybe he did. I'm not sure about Fez, but I think Fez did. Yeah, I think Fez was on the list. But like Red and Kitty.
Fez isn't getting killed. It's only the other ones.
Yeah. But them specifically, because they run like an anti-sex trafficking thing or whatever. They're like.
With Palantir.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, that's their whole thing, right? So anyways, but there was a letter from this woman, one of the like whatever alleged victims. Like, it is crazy because one of the victims was her, I can't remember what the band is, but she's like married to some guy in a band, and then he like told her that in 15 years later, like she was explaining like, I was dating Danny Masterson, and then he's like and then the husband was like, yeah, he raped you, like and she didn't know for 15, like one of those deals. But then there was one chick who like in 2004 wanted
so it wasn't like meat and potatoes holding you down.
No, well, there was like drugging them, but then there was one in like 2004.
So drugging's the whole deal.
But there was this one in 2004 where like, and that one you're like, I don't know. And then there was this one in 2004 where this woman was like basically sent a letter to the Church of Scientology, so she must have been in it, being like, I'd like to press charges, but they're threatening to like basically like they're threatening to like cut her off from all her friends and family.
Scientology's powerful.
Yeah,
dude.
so I don't know. It's probably some sort of gray area where some of it's not, some of it is. I don't know. It's hard.
The question is, I'd love to see one of those letters, man. Yeah. I was even thinking about it. I was gonna maybe do like a fake letter of it. But it's like, you don't understand. D-Mast is the man, dude. He used to get us the bomb. It's chronic.
Yeah.
Well, they've been getting all the old videos together. It's like, you forget what that era was like, dude. It was like, it was the two of them, and there'd be like some girl that's 16, be like, we're counting down the days till this bitch turns 18. And this is like on MTV like music awards.
But I also think people don't even get the joke of that. That was like a joke. It was like, yeah, can't wait for that the twins to be 18. It's like, and then what? Nothing's gonna happen. It's like a joke. We're playing a joke. People think
this is like, prior to OnlyFans too.
Yeah. We were having fun. We were like, well, I'm not gonna fuck a celebrity. I'm like, I'm joking. But you think I'm actually gonna?
Well, Ashton Kutcher could have fucked the celebrity.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm sure they are.
No, but I know what you mean. Yeah.
If he waited till 18, that was good back then. Are you kidding me? It was a different era. The towers are still up. You could do whatever you want back then.
The tower.
Well, it's true. Yeah, you go, well, I'll wait till she's 18 and be like, and then I'll jerk off to her for real. I'll finish
without guilt.
Yeah. Then I'll be jerking off to an 18-year-old. Then you'll see.
But you should do a character letter for your friends, though, right? They're your friends.
Yeah, that's a weird thing.
Well, he's not even saying they're not
it's
guilty.
It's your friends, and there's that was my thing. Is like, yeah, they're not saying they're not guilty. It's your friends. There's no physical evidence of anything.
Does it 10%?
It's literally just
part, yeah.
It's literally just like, and again, he's already guilty at this point. So all you're really asking for is like, hey, maybe they can like go to jail for 15 years instead of like 30 years.
Yeah.
Like, it's not. you're not getting a lot. And the funniest part is they're doing these apologies.
Kind of weird that the letters like are that's how it works. The judge is like, if a bunch of your boys write a letter saying you're sick, then I'll fucking
Well,
He had a great story.
I guess they just do it and they're like, hope it helps.
It's like American Idol where you gotta have a story to win.
One crazy thing in because they do like victim impact statements or whatever, where
they go the other
at
way.
the sentencings they bring all the victims in to be like, this is how you like harmed me or whatever. And one of the girls who said that he raped her or whatever, and then he was found not guilty on that one, they still let her come give a victim impact
That's
statement.
weird,
Oh.
I guess.
Yeah. And you're like, isn't that pretty fucked up?
That's the ex-girlfriend, right?
I think so, yeah.
So, but did you hear what she said about Ashton Kutcher and the murder?
No.
Did you,
Murder?
You didn't hear about the murder? I'm telling you, there's a murder. The people on the internet think Ashton Kutcher might have murdered a girl.
I believe that, yeah.
Come on.
This is
Shit
literally
like that happens.
No, this
It
is literally what happened, right? In the early 2000s, he had a date with this girl. He went over to her house to meet her. She didn't answer her phone. She didn't answer the door. And he was like, I don't know. He tried to get into the house because the door wasn't open. So we went home, rang her, never heard that. Next day, shows up on the news that she was murdered. And then he rang Danny Masterson and he was like, I'm worried that my fingerprints are on the door. I'm going to get accused of the murder or something like that. And the two of them talked on the phone. And I think he went to the cops with his lawyers and was like, explained it all. And but that girl said, Ashton, you better watch your mouth. I know the truth. I heard the real stuff what you said to Danny on the phone. So now everyone's thinking, oh, Ashton lied about the door handle and all the stuff. They think
that's what I saw that, but that's what they was talking about.
They think he might have came in, found a dead body even, and went, I'm not dealing with this stuff, and got the hell out.
Yeah.
No, he probably thought he was being
Fair
punked.
enough.
He probably thought he was being punked. He goes, wake up! This is ketchup. Oh, a real knife? What the?
Yeah. You trying to give me my own game?
He's like looking for the cameras. Come on, guys. I know it looks pretty decapitated, sure.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
but I mean, that would be a bummer if you fucking.
I think he killed her. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Sure,
I mean,
why
that
not?
was like one of the biggest shows at the time too. So you're probably like, if you're him, you're like,
Let Ashton Kutcher kill someone.
Butterfly effect sucks. She goes, what the fuck? Fucking what the fuck?
That dude, where's my car? Was a bit juvenile.
Like, really? You just couldn't find the car?
The Stiffmeister would hear that.
2 hours.
Stiffmeister's ears would be burning for sure. he was in Canada filming the hockey movie at the time, Goon. he's taking off his skates. He goes, my ears are fucking burning, man. No one talks shit.
Someone disrespecting the dude.
Ashton Kutcher's not a Scientologist, though, is he?
They all sort of are. I don't know who is, but there's a lot, way more than you think, dude.
Yeah.
That's what always struck me with LA, because it just seemed like if you're on the internet, you're kind of like, oh, it's this silly thing that people seem to like make fun of, but you never actually meet one or whatever. Kind of the same thing I said about Jews, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was like I knew one. Like you kind of like, one and he's not even really one, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you come to Toronto and you're like, oh, they're like everywhere.
They're everywhere.
Yeah. But the
like
same with
vermin.
Scientology. You hear about that and you're like, what? Okay. Yeah, it's just funny. Oh, this space thing, and you hear South Park making fun of it. Then you go to LA, they have a temple on every fucking
Every
corner.
you turn around, it's like
the massive
it's like
Scientology
the
temple.
Hyatt.
Yeah.
Everywhere you turn.
Huge.
Yeah, and you go, oh, it's like the real deal.
When they came to Ireland, I was thinking of going in just for fun. I was like, I'm gonna go in, document it, it'll be fun, and I like fuck with them or whatever. And my friend was like, just read into it first, and I like read into it, and I was like, I'm afraid they might get me.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go in like pranking them, coming out with a book, spreading the word immediately. They made some good points in there. They made some good points.
Well, if I remember, there was some girl that I was like dating a bit had like pamphlets that she said were someone just gave her to on the street, which I think was true. But
Yeah, they used to on Young Street.
So she was like took it to be funny or whatever, right? But I was reading the pamphlet. It's very much the equivalent of like the pamphlet you'd probably get for like Hustlers University.
Yeah.
Like it's very like, hey, do you want to be rich? Like, are you trying to get your life together? Like, are you in a rut? You know what I mean? Like, do you know how to want to learn how to drop ship? It's like that kind of shit, man. It's like rise and grind type shit.
Yeah.
And that's how they get you in on some Tony Robbins kind of get your life together shit. What's going on? We're good? You just push them over. But yeah, they try to get you in on some like Tony Robbins type shit. And then I think they sell you. It's like, yeah, obviously rising and grind is all bullshit. But if you want the real deal, it's like, $100,000 a year.
Yeah.
So it's a pyramid scam, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they all do the same neuro-linguistic programming style things just to sort of get you feeling.
Which is what?
Well, I think it's like it's like making you do affirmations and but like weird body language stuff, right? It's like,
I guess I don't really know.
It's all the like the same way the Nixium stuff was just doing that. So
So it's got that sort of vibe to it.
Yeah, you talk about all the stuff you want, and then you blame all the bad things in your life for not believing in the right things, and then it kind of gets you sort of.
Yeah.
Do you know what's funny? I read a study that I think I might even sent to you, but it basically said that people who believe, I'll find it, but it's like, it was not affirmations.
More likely to go bankrupt. People who manifest are more likely to go bankrupt.
Yeah, people who, like girls manifesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's guys too, but it's pretty crazy.
Like
so
vision board type stuff?
People who have vision board and essentially aspirational thoughts, ideas cosmically attract success. And there's a lot of people pushing this. And they did a study on a ton of people. And the people that are, manifesting their dreams were 40% more likely to go bankrupt.
Yeah, which makes total sense.
It does.
Because you would never take any negative feedback as negative feedback. You'd be like, oh, this is just a roadblock.
Oh, I just got to double down.
Yeah, you go, I just got to keep going. Because obviously, all this is just part of the thing. And then eventually just
Well, even
what if I
Harmozy always posts, he was like, just remember when things get really, really tough, like this is when most people quit.
Yeah, just
and it was like
you've been an open micer for 15 years.
But that's what I mean.
That this is the part where people quit. If you keep going, you can be an open micer for 25 years.
But yeah, you're right.
With zero prospects and your whole life thrown away.
Well, they never show the other side of it, where it's like, and this is where most people mostly quit. And that guy has like a normal job and a family now, and he actually is the best decision he ever made.
Yeah, I was actually, it's so funny. I went down some like when I got home last night, I go home really late, and I don't know why, but YouTube showed me like a Club 54 comedy clip.
You love Club 54.
I love comedy Club 54, shout out. But then it was what was it? It was like some guy I never heard of, some guy who was like on, and then for whatever reason he had like a weird name, and I decided to Google him, and then
you get down weird rabbit holes.
I do.
I get left to your own devices.
I do. I don't know. I was just tired or whatever, and then right before I went to bed, and then I Googled him, and then he's like managing partner at some like giant hedge fund in New York City, and it says like his LinkedIn's like former stand-up comic, and he wasn't a great comic, but he was like a comedy club, and like he's the classic guy who's like, yeah, this is bullshit, this is so stupid, I'm gonna go be like a fucking gajillionaire in New York City.
Yeah, there's loads of those guys where they just one day they look around and go, ugh, and then you just next thing you hear that a millionaire somewhere. That happens all the time.
But he was like on this like show that was like this syndicated TV show in the mid 90s comedy show, and then he obviously was like, yeah, this is stupid.
That's crazy. Well, I always talk kind of, it is an interesting thing with like anything, whatever, influencer, comedian, whatever, musician, whatever it is. It's kind of the only thing where you go, if you're the 1,000th best in the world, you probably made 30 grand that year. Where it's like, if you're the 1,000th best doctor, you made 500 grand.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Or the 1,000th best lawyer, like any other job that's hard.
Insurance, not even
insurance. If you're the 2,000th best insurance person, you're very rich. If you're the 2,000th best comedian, it's like you might not be able to buy food this week.
It's insane the level of like how easily for me, right, to like I could pretty easily reach out to people like Bill Burr, Louis C.K., the best people in the world, Shane or whoever's the biggest and best comedians in the world. But like you can never, but I'm so like poor and unsuccessful. It's insane for them to be like, for me to be able to.
The chasm is massive,
yeah. But the wealth is wild. Like the equivalent in music, I could never just reach out to like Beyonce or Rihanna. There's no connection there because the gap is miles.
Comedy's weird just because like Louis C.K. might go do a bar show.
Yeah, it's
like he might just hit you up on a Tuesday, being like, "Hey, can I just do a spot?" At
you work at the same place as him, though,
I work.
Right?
Yeah, I work.
You'd be able to. Yeah, it's the same as like you'd be able to work. You'd be able to reach out to the top lawyer if you worked at that law firm.
Yeah,
which is kind of
no, but law in general.
Yeah, law in general. Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, because comedy is just a weird one in that respect. Because
where you can all be sitting at the same table, and it's so.
And you could be doing it for 2 years and be sitting at the same table with
the
best comedian in the world for whatever reason.
Sure,
and you're terrible, and you'll never achieve anything. But you're right beside him, and you're friends with him.
Yeah, comedy has a.
Okay, well, I have one more weird Hollywood story in the thing before there's something else. But I already did a video about this, but Ethan Hawke basically is doing, he's like directing movies, right? And his daughter's in the movie, and they have like a graphic sex scene, and he's directing the sex scenes. And it was just like, this is the kind of shit I think, especially right now, people are like, what are these Hollywood freaks up to? Mm-hmm. And it was like, I get it. It's already weird when people will be like, I'll direct my like wife or whatever. But directing your daughter, like legitimately directing, sitting there while your daughter's like fucking a guy, and they're basically both naked with whatever they put the little sock on the dick. They basically do the Red Hot Chili Peppers for the sex scenes. So that's essentially what they do. And then you have to be kind of like, get in there harder. You know, it's just like
more pumps. Can I get more pumps?
Choker.
Yeah, that's what I.
Pull those pigtails.
I was in, he goes, attaboy. There you go. He's massaging the guy's shoulders behind him.
Call him daddy. But I guess in their world, acting is acting. So
you couldn't say, I'm not going to direct this one scene, though. I think that's what you do. I think if you're doing directing, and if you're the girl, you just be like, I don't want dad here for this one. You go, I have a pinch director for the one scene in the movie that's the sex scene.
You think that's
what I would do? It'd just be so normal. You go, I'm directing the thing. You go, there's this one scene where there's like graphic sex with a dude. You go, you know what? I'll sit that one out because it's my daughter.
Yeah, I guess. But I guess in their world,
that's like bitching out though. Probably
in their world,
that's like if you have like a joke, like a black joke, and then there's like a black person in the audience, and then you go like, just skip that tonight. Nobody's gonna know that I skipped that.
Well, think about that. Okay, but if you're like the best prostitute in the world, you're like, but your brother wants a taste, and you go, I am the best.
His money's green, isn't it? Is his money not green? I'm sorry. Is money no good here? I guess, but like, are actors allowed not do gay scenes, like, or is that considered like you're a pussy then?
I mean, you're already doing a scene.
I mean, you're signing it like you read a script, like I'm sure there's people who've been like, you got to do all this like gay shit, and they're like, no, I don't want to do that.
When they send them the script, they leave that scene out, and then they go, we added a couple of scenes. Your sides are in your trailer.
Turns out the entire arc is that you're in the closet.
And then you're doing some hardcore gay sex. You go, what?
Actually, you know what? Okay, on the topic of gay stuff,
check out Column Special on YouTube right now.
Special on YouTube. So there is actually there is two different things. Colum has a lot of experience in this actually because he used to sell goods at the gay bar, right?
Yes,
we were talking about it last night. But
wait, that's not a euphemism.
He used to sell.
Just so you guys
he used to sell goods at a gay bar.
I wasn't blowing bears for money. I was literally selling toys.
He worked for a charity.
I worked for a fake charity kind of a thing.
And then he used to say these gay guys are suckers, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, gay guys. Well,
remember when we used to do Imperial and the guy used to come with the flowers and bobs everyone? Yeah. Colum did that.
Yeah. I'm like one of those Africans selling roses at a bar. That's what
this guy was. Yeah.
So that's what I would go around with these little like teddy bear sticker things. You could stick them on things. And it was for like an animal shelter.
Oh, okay.
And
but the money never went to the shelter.
I think everyone skimmed so much by the time it got to people because I got 30%, and then the guy who was like in charge of me got 30%. I'm sure the guy got.
So it's like 5 cents.
By the end of it,
it's like 5 cents went to it.
Also, I didn't give them all the money.
Yeah. So. There's so many scams like that. I remember I knew this girl. And back home or whatever, and like you don't see them that much here, but they're everywhere in like Canada. But like those boxes where you like donate like your clothes or whatever. And for the longest time, it's like donate your clothes for charity, and that's what everyone thought. And then this is like in the 90s, and she's like, yeah. So like the deal with these is everybody thought it's just like it's a charity that's running it. And she's like, no, it's like this is my dad's company. He's like rich, and you drop all your clothes off, then they sell all the clothes, and they just give like 5% of it to charity.
Yeah.
But you think you're just donating your clothes to homeless people.
That's what I thought too,
some homeless guys on me.
Yeah, you're like, and it's like, no, it's like you're just giving your clothes to this guy who then sells them all and gives 5% of the money.
A vintage dealer.
Yeah, essentially. And they're like, and those they sell them by weight or whatever, and like. But and they process them and all that stuff. But yeah, that's
interesting.
But forever, I thought you're like,
I would have thought that for sure.
This just goes to homeless people, and you're like, no, not at all.
All charity is over.
I used to have my scam that I had when I was like 12 is we had a buddy's dad who used to get like. He worked at some gum place, and they used to just get massive amounts of gum. He had a whole garage full of gum, right?
Like chewing gum.
Chewing gum. Okay. So we'd steal the slabs, put on fucking Letterman's hockey of a hockey team, and we'd go door to door selling the gum for the hockey team.
Oh yeah.
And we were doing all right, dude. We were like, 12-year-olds pulling like $50.
Ooh,
Back when $50 was $50.
I did the same thing. I remember we used to do like charity things with school, and you'd raise money for like starving Africans. And I remember one year.
Well, mine you're faking a hockey team.
No. Mine
Call
was
taking food out of the mouth.
Whatever.
These are real starving Africans.
You think the teacher wasn't taking something off the top?
Teacher's on the take?
Yeah. He was skimming. Why do you think they're still starving, dude?
Teachers eating good.
There's no money in ending starvation.
Has anyone noticed that these kids are still hungry?
I used to talk about that on stage a bit, but especially when all the new problems started, like, hey, we need more Asians in like Hollywood or whatever. It'll be like, James Bond's got to be, retarded or whatever. And then it'll be like, and then the Asian, like the African kids are like, hey, they never really, our thing didn't get solved.
Yeah.
Because they sort of just moved on.
Moved on.
You never hear about that. You never see like the whole like the kid with the flies on him and stuff, like all those commercials. They kind of just stopped that.
They just stopped making the commercials.
Well, they're bumming us out. But the thing is, Live Aid, right? Bono and Bob Geldof, they put together Live Aid, which was just
I remember Live Aid.
Yeah, huge concert.
I went
Freddie
to one
Mercury.
of them.
Yeah, great. And they got all these celebrities, and then they sent all this money to Africa. And then it turns out that one of the countries that they sent it to, which was, I believe, Uganda, the guy was a dictator that people didn't realize. And they just pretty much funded his
machetes for children.
They funded his military campaign to just destroy. So there was an argument that they actually killed more people than ever helped.
Wow!
Because they gave all the money to an evil dictator in Africa.
Whoops!
He said he was cool. I don't know.
Was it Coney?
I don't know which one it is. And
I think Mugabe is.
I think it was the guy. Remember the Last King of Scotland? Do you remember that movie? I think
Idi Amin.
It might have been that guy. It might have been.
Okay.
But
I don't know.
I
don't know my African geography very well.
Yeah, but if I'm wrong, let me know, because I think that's a fun story.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they killed him.
they're all. There's always kind of exposés that like, hey, this charity, like $1 went to the people.
Yeah.
And people are eating. Yeah.
Go into the head office of any charity in the world. They have a fucking chandelier worth more than your house.
Dude, that's the cliche of the Hollywood executive. That's what you walk into the like starving African charity. The guy's playing golf into a cup. He doesn't even look up.
You go into like concern. It's almost like going into Google. Like, where there's like there's a bar. There's a free bar.
He comes down the slide.
Richie Rich.
He's kind bar.
He's like Scrooge McDuck in a pool of coins. He just flicks one nickel into a charity thing and goes, technically we're a charity. Doing it for years, my friend. Yeah, it's so funny. You go to meet him. He rolls in on a fucking souped up golf cart. He's on a Segway riding around the office. That's why I like about starving African kids. I keep getting older and they keep starving.
I keep getting richer. They keep getting hungry. And they say the same hungriness.
Has a disease ever been cured? And then there's just a guy that gets the news like,
I guess you have to find a new disease.
Yeah,
there's always a new
racism. That's the new disease.
I'm in Make-A-Wish, but
that's why they like racism. It's like
uncurable.
It's an uncurable disease.
Can't be cured.
It's just inherently in our DNA.
Those charities that's the funniest shit.
Yeah, they are scamming on you.
Well, so basically, actually, you know what else? You were right before we started. You were telling me because we were saying we know if you know who will share your special or not.
Oh, yeah.
But what were you saying about your grandmother? Because it's like the funniest.
She won't share your special.
She's from hell.
No, his grandma's like the just the classic Irish lady that like never forgets a debt.
Yeah.
So, it was my aunt, but what she would do
is
so she has like a ledger's book for like weddings and Christmas and things like that.
Yeah.
She writes down exactly what people give her or her daughters and stuff like that.
So that she can balance
So when the daughters if her daughter got married and then you gave a gift, say $200, she writes down the $200 so that when you get married, she gives 200 back. She wants to make sure it's level.
Right.
So if you only,
what if it's a physical gift, not cash?
I guess you just use
she
monetary.
assigns a value.
But like she is literally like, is she going online and like finding out like what's the value?
Yeah,
of
I
it?
guess I never asked him that much about it, but I'm sure she is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're figuring out. First,
That's
I don't
so fucking
think
funny,
anyone's
though.
given a physical gift.
Does she
in
adjust
years.
for inflation?
I think so. She should. I hope she does do that every
Like
4
you know,
years.
yeah, like every-
depreciating.
Whatever. Like it's just like that thing costs way more money.
Yeah, it's like
10 years from now.
She has to balance the books. Yeah, for sure.
Like if someone gave you 200 for a wedding and then they get married 15 years later and then she's like,
I know.
give them 200.
Yeah, you give them out of date money. We don't even use pounds anymore.
That's even Stevens.
Steven, you gave me 200. I gave you 200.
Shit.
But we were saying we should do with the because my special came out. It's on YouTube right now. Go check it out. Was like for people not sharing my special. I was like, oh, I should have had a little ledger for every time they release this, because I shared a lot of specials there. They're not sharing mine, and now I want to come back and go, hey, remember last year I shared this guy's special? I was lying. It stinks.
You should release the ledger too. It should be a public ledger.
it should be a
Google
public
Doc.
ledger.
Oh, that should be true. Actually, I've nothing to hide. Release the tapes.
But at Grindr, but speaking of a workplace, that must be wild. But Grindr basically said that everyone has to come back to work, and basically half of the staff quit. And then they're kind of coming out saying like Jimmy Fallon, like the bad working conditions, and it's like a lot of articles being like, you know, expose on the bad working conditions, which are that they have to come into work.
They have to come into work. They go,
2 days a week.
We were promised that we never had to come back to work, and now we do.
Yeah, so they're that, you know, I don't know what percentage of people at Grindr do you think are gay?
I don't know. I would bet like not like I wouldn't think it's like
straight guy working at Grindr seems strange. I don't know. I can't imagine anyone doing that.
Yeah.
Even applying.
What do you think? It's like this is a big gay Playboy mansion type of scenario?
It's just like an office.
It's just
It's
a
like it's a
regular
tech
job.
company.
It's like working for Grubhub.
I picture you're just looking at
coding and stuff.
Well, I don't know what the jobs are, but I think you're just doing
You
like
just
dick
walk-
pic
yeah,
fucking.
it's like a firehouse.
I mean, I'm sure hopefully the trust and safety team.
Everybody dance now. As you walk in, you're exhausted. You're like, oh my god, all day. It's so gay.
This is what I picture. Yeah, like for example, they have like a, you know, like hey, pass the report, and they pass it through glory holes, like everything.
Yeah. You walk
Very
into
Grindr.
You go into the canteen or the kitchen just to get coffee. People are just sucking, and you're.
No,
You know, can I just get? Sorry, guys.
the
can
coffee comes out of a dildo, like you know,
like a big hamster thing.
you have to get your coffee out of the dildo.
I work at Grindr. There's just a sad straight guy at Grindr. It's just like
I work at
exhausted. I work at
Grindr.
Grindr.
I'm sure
my
they have-
laptop. Yeah, my laptop's pink and glittery and that.
Hey, we're gonna be doing a team meeting in the foam room.
Steam room.
Yeah, he goes. Yeah, it's worse to let us to work day.
It's probably.
He's walking around clanking in his high heels. Oh, I hate this job.
I don't think it was that many. I wouldn't guess.
It must be insane. I think it's probably a lot of girls, but the percentage of guys, and I mean, part of this was like, okay, I think that this is kind of where I was getting at. If you say like you have to come to work and everyone quits, that seems like gay guys are a bit more prima donna-y, right?
I mean, do they have other jobs lined up?
Is that a wild statement?
Go to the office? No way.
I mean, people. I assume they need to work though. Like, are they have another job lined up, or like, or is it like they move?
Cleaner at the movie theater.
I think
Like, did they move during COVID and they're just like, well, I'm not moving back to New York or whatever.
That's happening a lot now. People are trying.
Well, actually, where's the head office? Is it in San Francisco? Because that probably will answer that.
One day
question.
is almost worse. Like sometimes, like because a lot of these countries, a lot of these companies are like, oh, we're bringing everyone back in for at least 1 day a week, which is almost more annoying because you're like, now I'm just like in New York for 6 days a week where I don't need to be, when I could be living somewhere cheap, and you know.
Yeah, but if you're gonna live like an hour away, if you only have to do that commute once or twice a week, it's like not that crazy.
It's in West Hollywood, so a pretty gay area. So maybe more gays there.
Maybe.
I don't know. I think that they've got to have like a pretty gay vibe there. I don't know. Am I crazy? Is this out of control? Like to say?
I feel like it's just like any regular corporate.
I think it's a dream job for a gay guy.
Maybe a lot of benefits, benefit in kind. Like they give you like boosts or whatever.
Condoms everywhere, I assume. But
yeah.
But anyways, the more importantly, well, kind of why I brought it up is they had so this dude there was basically like 2 dudes that were in a gay couple, And
as you will.
Okay, Dad.
2 dudes that were in a
They were in a gay couple. Doing gay thing.
And then they broke up, and then the guy, as like a fuck you to his ex, he's been sending dudes, kind of what you'd think is you'd be like, imagine someone did this. He goes on GRINDR, puts the guy's profile and address and stuff there, and he's been sending dudes to the guy's house being like, I have hey, just come in, don't even knock, like just immediately start having sex with me.
Yeah, and the best is
he sent over 1,000 dudes to the guy's house to his work.
Nice.
So he just has like 15 dudes a day coming into this guy's house.
Yeah.
Which also shows you how easy it is for dudes to pick up. That you're not even trying that hard, and you got 15 coming over to bang.
Yeah.
The best part is he said to, he's like, I might try and like put up a fight or anything. Just don't pay any mind to it. That's part of my rape fantasy. Yeah. That's like the funniest part is he goes, yeah. Like if I put up a fight or whatever, like that's just like me liking it. Don't worry about it.
If I act confused and tell you to get out.
Like who are you? That's just like all part of it. And the gay guys are like, all right, that checks out. Yeah.
But you also got to be like the guy after he fucked the 5th guy was like, why are all these guys coming over?
Yeah.
It's not like he didn't even question it until after he got through like 10 of them and was like, this is crazy. What is it, Christmas?
The guy's telling me he has HIV. Still 1,100 people show up.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally, he goes, the guy has HIV and doesn't stop anybody.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, they come with the HIV. But like, so, yeah, anyways, but it was interesting because you go, if that was like, imagine like, if you did that to a girl, it was like, even just think about a guy sent like 1,000 guys to a girl's house and said to rape them. It's like, that's like up there with like Hitler level of like, this is the worst guy in the history of the world. Yeah. Whereas like in this story, you're like, what a scoundrel.
Yeah. Or if a girl.
We got a real Johnny Knoxville over here.
Yeah, or if your ex-girlfriend did that to you with like girls and you're like, oh no, babe. Sorry.
Me.
I guess I shouldn't have cheated on you. I learned my lesson. Just slept with 1,000 women.
The mayor of Burbank was up. Did you see that weird thing where he was fucking getting a spanking in front of people? So he's like a big like progressive mayor, I guess. And then he went like they had drag queens coming in. Then he goes into the drag queen as like a press junket, and the drag queen's like spanking him and stuff like that. And he like released it as like look how fucking
that's just a campaign,
look how with it I am.
Campaign video getting spanked by drag queens.
Sounds so cool.
Okay.
There comes a certain point where you're like, oh, bro.
Boys, we got to tell you about Butcherbox. It's been a second since we told the fellas about the box.
Oh, yeah.
And as you know, I got it for my dad.
Yep.
Love the
box.
Hey, we're out here saying it's a
love
product.
the box.
Yeah, I've been out here. I'm a chicken guy personally. Danny's out here. You're a little
I've
more.
seen your legs.
You're a little more. They actually are. The
beef
calves
man.
have actually been in okay shape lately, but I've been accused of having skinny legs.
I'm a beef man.
But you're just a little more explorational than me with food. I'm a beef man. I'm a chicken man. Yes, you're more into all the different things.
All the stuff.
They make it easy to find high quality meat and seafood that you can trust. 100% grass fed beef, free range organic chicken, pork raised, crate free, and wild caught seafood. These animals are living the high life.
Oh, the high life. They're treating them nice.
They're getting treated nice. Humanely raised, no antibiotics, no hormones, delivered right to your doorstep, free shipping as always, curated custom box plans. You got a variety of high quality cuts at an amazing value, exclusive member deals, recipe inspiration, guides, tips, hacks. So Butcherbox, this is high quality. You don't want to be in the grocery store, doing whatever this is.
No.
Shaking the thing.
Shaking the steak.
Like juggling friggin' slabs of beef to try to find out if they're good ones.
I will say this too, because a lot of people order their groceries. They'll do that where they order their groceries and then they bring you the groceries. Then they always pick the worst cuts of meat.
Oh.
You'll be like, hey, because you select it online, then they deliver your groceries, and you're like, what is this? This is not even edible. Yeah, so
they're not doing that over at the Butcherbox.
No.
And also, they're giving us a special deal right now. So if you sign up today, butcherbox.com/boyscast, use the code boyscast, $20 off the first order, butcherbox.com/boyscast, and use the code boyscast to claim the deal. And everybody knows fresh ball fall is upon us. They don't mess around at Manscaped with the ad reads.
No, they don't.
You need to be in the festive spirit. Light a candle, get some pumpkin spice, and make sure your balls look nice with the sponsors of today's show, Manscaped. Nature may clear the leaves of the trees, but you'll need Manscaped's help to get you ready for the sweater weather. Get your pants puppies prepared for cuffing season. Ooh, cuffing season. With a trim as refreshing as fall breeze by going to manscaped.com and using the code BOYSCAST for 20% off plus free shipping. So, I personally... There's been a couple times, me and I remember Walter used to always joke where that it was that you had to push things back because you had an accident. And shit. We used to always say, honestly, I just started trimming. You get down there, and before you know, there's blood.
Yeah. It's like getting a stone caught in a lawnmower. You just hear like.
We're not talking once. I'm talking like. I would say a good 10 times in my life. And you don't want to, and you show up with those nicks. The problem is the chicks start being like...
Chicks don't dig the nicks.
Well, because, they're not thinking this is a nick. That's what you got, a big bloody spot, and they're just like, oh, what's this? And you go, oh, a shaving accident. They go, yeah, okay.
Yeah, plus when you use those crappy trimmers, then you can get skin caught in between them. And
yeah. Well, yeah, you don't want that. And that's why Manscaped has solved that problem. So listen, it starts with the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the advanced skin-safe technology that reduces nicks and cuts to make raking the leaves a lot less painful. Once you've cleared the driveway, the performance package comes in hot with products to cool you down. The Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant, Crop Reviver Ball Spray Toner, one to prevent stink and one to clear it up, with a soothing aloe vera formula. Move over, pumpkin spice. Fresh balls are the smell of the season. Bring in the fall and get 20% off and free shipping with the code BOYSCAST at manscaped.com. That is 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com with the code BOYSCAST. As the leaves fall, make sure you have it all with Manscaped. I feel like you'll completely been. Basically, this guy left his wife at the airport and it kind of became a whole thing.
This triggered me.
Yeah, but it actually was triggering me.
This is literally like triggered me because I was like, I'll do this.
I have done it.
Dude, you've really done this?
Not at the airport, but like at things like lots
airport
of time.
though, like
dude,
this is like level message sent. I saw this before you sent this to me, and I showed this to my girl, and I go, "This is going to happen to you one day." I'm not even exaggerating. I'm not saying this is a joke. Of course, I said one day this is going to happen to you. I'm going to leave you.
I'm going to write an article about.
I'm going to leave you at the fucking airport because you go to get a coffee.
Yeah.
Like 10 minutes before boarding, and you don't come back.
Well, this guy's already said they've missed multiple flights.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, then this time they're basically at the airport, and then she goes, "I need to go get a Starbucks," and she has to go through leave the terminal essentially because she had to go to a specific coffee place and then miss the flight, and the guy just and then
he's texting her being like, "Hey, they're boarding," and she's like, "Oh, I'll be back when I'm back."
And the guy said she won't talk to him for he basically comes home and she's been like icing him out, like super mad at him, and it was just like, yeah. This is finally someone stood up to these monsters.
He's like pretty reasonable because he's like he has a daughter from a different marriage that he was going to visit. So he's like, we're going to visit my daughter. The first time they missed the flight, couldn't go visit the daughter, lost the flight. So he's like, I'm just gonna go. You can buy another flight and meet me or whatever.
Yeah.
And then she ends up doing that, and he's like, it was fine all weekend, but then when we got back, she's like all fucking upset about it, and yeah, it's just like, I don't know, pretty normal.
Dude, I have the amount of times in my life that a girl was gonna I'm trying to even. There's so many.
Mad.
Well, I was thinking of shows, and then I'm already thinking of like 3 things. Like I remember New Year's, doing a big show, and then it was like, we'll come to the show, and then legitimately, we're supposed to be there an hour before, and then the minute I'm getting on stage, I'm getting phone calls being like, where is it and stuff, and then I get on stage, and then my phone's ringing on stage, and I remember being on stage trying to look at my set list, and I have this phone ring, and then I keep 19 missed calls that I kept having to turn off on stage, and it was just God. And this is someone I've been dating for a while, being like, that if I'm not answering, what that reason probably is, I'm at the show that you've missed.
Yeah, let me ring him 19 more times, just in case he can't hear it.
Just fucking take a breather, woman. I've actually...
Yeah.
I mean, most things nowadays, Danny actually does this. You're pretty on the thing of if I'm ever meeting up with you and your chick, you like come separately because you're just like you just have it sort of set like that.
Well, I'm like, okay, I'm leaving. I'll meet you there. She just takes so long
She's always so long, is she? Yeah.
Yeah, she's just late for everything.
But the flights,
they don't do anything though. This is the thing.
Yeah, she doesn't do anything. I go, what are you doing? Like,
what are you doing?
And like, literally.
What do you do here?
Yeah, seriously. And she's like, I don't even know really. Like, she'll even admit, she goes, I don't know. I'm just kind of puttering around and.
Yeah, the worst thing I think I hate is when I'm waiting for my girl. I'm waiting for I'm ready half an hour, and then she'll be like, okay, 10 minutes, you know, and then eventually she goes, all right, let's go. And it's like, because she's ready. Like, I've been ready. Don't tell me to let's go. Oh. I'm waiting for you.
The only way I ever win in this scenario is when it's a thing she wants to do, like it's one of her things, and then I'm like. And I don't really care.
Well,
I don't really care.
I'm watching TV.
No, I'm so and then
you got the Al Bundy hand.
Oh, legitimately. And then she's like, "Oh, I'll be ready." And I go, "Oh, yeah, take your time." And then we end up just being like so fucking late for her thing. And she's like, "Why are we so late?" And I go, "I don't know."
Because
we missed a wedding. I missed a wedding before.
Oh my
Twice. God. This was it was with Jarek actually one time. We were carpooling 3 hours away to go to this wedding, and then it was just like, where are they? Blah, blah, blah. And he was like, I'm trying to get her going, blah, blah. We eventually get to the wedding and walk in after they'd already done the thing and they were just about to do the speeches. And we walk in on like the speeches and
just the whole church goes,
buddy, it's my buddy getting married and he's standing
Speak
there.
Now or forever hold your peace. And then the door goes, you're there pulling her.
He just looks at me and he goes, you're just like, you're talking the wrong department.
Yeah. Women suck.
Yeah, you should be able to leave.
I had one where I was at the thing and we're waiting to go to this thing, but I already pulled the Danny, and then I'm scrolling through my phone and I see this bitch posted a TikTok. I was like fucking ready to throw my phone in the wall.
Some fucking nerve on these people.
I was just like, are you fucking kidding me right now?
She's just commenting on, like, replying to people on TikTok. You can see her, thanks.
Flying with a girl is like, because there is a lot of times you're kind of like, yo, if you're going to a weekend or whatever, sometimes you're like, that'd be a fun thing, like bring the chick, like, you know what I mean? And then like halfway through the airport, you're like, oh right, they're fucking you're on the flight and you're already just like irritated from 9 fucking things.
The only hope though is that if this ever does happen, it's going to happen like leaving Saudi Arabia, and I'll just leave her there, and then that'll just be that.
That'd be the end of it.
There's no lesson to be learned though.
You don't even ask. You don't even find out what happened to them.
No. You just assume you're never seeing them again, and that's that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Take it into some sort of form of sex.
Yeah, it's like it's like leaving a hat in an Uber. You just go, it is what it is. I like that hat, but
not paying the $20.
I don't even know where I'd begin to track this down.
It's just like a Mets hat. I can replace it.
It was a good hat. I liked it a lot, but you know what? I'll get a new one. I'll get a new hat. A new, younger, tighter hat. Rules are rules. Again, they take your girl off you.
Shouldn't have been late.
We have locked up your girlfriend. Well, look, it's your culture, you know. That's it.
Who am I to say?
I don't want to come across as
that should fucking legit boil my blood though. Reading
but
that.
I'd be mad if I missed if I was late and my girl was there and she didn't get the flight. I'd almost be mad because of like what a waste of money.
Well, but then I'd be like, well, go buy yourself a new ticket and I'll meet you wherever the fuck. But it still fucks up your trip.
Don't forget they're crying at this time.
No, yeah.
You think you're getting a level-headed call? Like, okay, I'll just buy the ticket, catch you on the flip.
No, you can't. You don't get a call. You're lounging. You've got a free seat beside you. Yeah. You're sitting on the plane having the time of your life. You're stretched out.
Yeah, you put the little. They come for drinks. You put her like table thing down.
Yeah.
2, please.
Her favorite's a gin and tonic.
Just 2 everything, please. 2 pretzels. Just everything. Yeah.
Having the time of your life.
Just. Ew.
Yeah, obviously it's such a universal complaint, but it's like it is just crazy how that does never get solved. Where you're just like, hey, you're standing there for 3 hours and nothing happens.
Yeah, you need some sort of shock collar.
Yeah,
for women.
You just have to. You just lie. That's the only solution. You say the event's at.
Yeah, that's what I do. I do a lot of that.
That's just what you got to do.
Yeah, and then I do that. That is something actually I do where I just lie about the time.
Yeah, it's the only way.
Yeah, and you'll never really get called on it because you'll never really be on time.
Well, the problem is if they show up half an hour late and then they're on time, then they can't turn around to you and be like, "You told us they're on time." Because I was like, "Yeah, I know. I adjusted for you." and your bad habits.
Yeah, but then like and this is like what the girl in this article said that she was all mad about is that he's like, so sometimes I'll be like militant about getting to the airport, and then you get to the airport like an hour before the flight, and then she's just fucking complaining that she's got to spend an hour at the airport, and you're just like, well, the whole point is that you don't know. Like you don't know. It's not like fixed. It's variable how long you're gonna have. How long is it going to take? So you have to get there early in case.
Just get the this solves everything. Get a Delta Lounge membership, and then it doesn't matter how early you get there. Since I'm in the Delta, it's great. I'm always worried about getting to the airport too early, because you just never know with traffic and stuff, especially in like
of course.
a different city. But now because I'm in the lounge, I'm like, if I have an hour to kill, it's great.
Okay, free food.
Yeah, there's free food, free drinks. It's like a good vibe just to hang out, and there's like good work area rooms.
None of the riffraff.
No.
I have a lounge.
None of the scum at fucking Buffalo Wild Wings. No. And a $28 beer. No, I'm classing it up, drinking champagne and getting some free cookies.
I got the thing for the lounge, and I went once, and they said it was full.
Oh,
really?
It does. But you just gotta wait. It's not full for long.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because someone has to go
long.
catch a flight at some point. So.
Yeah, but it is. So I used to always be worried about getting there too early. Now I'm like, worst case scenario, I'll just chill in the lounge for 45 minutes. Or if your flight's delayed, it's the best.
I mean, but it's like the alternative is you miss your flight, and like that pain in the ass is the pain of missing a flight is greater than the pain of being early 10 times. Like like missing a flight sometimes is a fucking nightmare. Remember that one time we had to like go to like Atlanta to get to St. Louis?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in this situation many times.
You're always missing flights, right?
I'm always missing flights, but I've also had probably more times it's like they cancel it. Dude, me and Danny had like 2 weekends in a row, I think it was, where they sent us back home.
Yeah,
oh my God.
That's insane.
Not even closer to the it's just a waste of your time.
Yeah. Oh, they're out of control over there, but okay, and this one was good. It was from basically his Your Tango, but this woman did 7 undeniable signs that he wants you to leave him alone. And on the paper, it seems obvious. They go, he ghosts you. He won't respond to you. He ignores you completely, right? But the other part of it was sort of go back to the original video. You are kind of like, that's not necessarily true. There's a million girls where it's like you go, he doesn't engage with you. He doesn't engage with your comments online. He avoids you on public. It's like there are people that you go, yeah, that's my wife. Doesn't necessarily. So it doesn't necessarily.
One size fits all.
It doesn't necessarily mean this guy's gonna walk away, man. I know guys that are sleeping in the separate bedrooms. Oh, yeah. This is a roommate you don't talk to.
Yeah. This is sometimes guys just do this so that they can stay in the game. Like they're not gonna stay in the game. Like otherwise, like if they can't do this stuff, then they're like, okay, well then I'm out. Like if I have to be replying to every one of your fucking comments on every social media,
girls want that,
yeah.
So it is mixed signals. You're right, but it is also funny the other way around, where it's just like writing an article, being like, if he ghosts you, blocks you, doesn't respond to you, tells your friends that you're bothering him,
phones the police on you, gets a cease and desist, and he tells you through the use of lawyers to stay away. He might want you not to pursue him.
7. He says it outright.
Is that really it? I swear to God, I thought that was a joke. I was going to say that's a joke.
He says it outright.
He says,
leave me alone.
Please stop. I will have to take legal action.
That's a good sign. That's a sign. Although mine means something else, but it's a good sign.
It's playing hard to get. Yeah.
No, that's what I was saying. Hold the phone. He might still stay with you for another 70 years. But yes, if you're in a dating stage and the guy tells you specifically to please stop contacting him, then the girls have to write this article because this girl learned this the hard way. And she's like, obviously you write that article because you're like, maybe some other girls don't realize that fucking, legitimately having a police restraining order is some sort of a sign from God.
It's kind of serious, yeah.
No, I was liking it though. Oh shit. Okay, so if you're talking about on the topic of the Burbank thing, right?
Yep.
Obviously that was like California, right? And you wouldn't try that in a small town, I think is fair to say, right? But
or would you?
So Jason Aldean, the small town guy, they basically were burning American flags outside of his concert.
Yeah. But
it was making me laugh because it is a concert in Chicago. So it really was like proving his point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It wasn't in Louisville.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, it just seems like if you were going to be burning flags outside of Jason Aldean's concert, you go pick a small town one and be like, right? They've literally waited till he comes. He probably doesn't play these like city metropolitans that often, right?
No.
So he's basically playing in Chicago, and then they're burning the signs out, and he was probably just like, he probably banged harder that night.
No, he goes,
Yeah, he's probably on stage being like a bunch of people outside burning flags.
bunch of blue-haired trans.
Yeah,
He's like, he goes, I wrote a little song about it.
Exactly.
Y'all gotta get out of these big cities.
Yeah, he's like, could you not prove his point harder?
Yeah.
Hey, do you know what's kind of strange? Is they in New York. There's actually a couple of like interesting like New York stories, but right now the police have like instituted. They're sending drones out to. You've seen that too, right? Yeah, they're sending. So basically, if you get like a noise complaint, they send like a drone out over your party to see it.
Oh, okay.
So I guess you can see the first part where you're like,
What footage? Can you send me that footage? Yeah, I'm like a rager. some teenagers like, oh, that angle's sick, dude.
Look at that fucking wide shot.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
There's a guy jumping off the roof looking at like using it like it's like a selfie stick type of thing. Woo!
yeah. Well, it is. Yeah, there's obviously that, but then I guess it is kind of like I see sort of both sides. I do see how I guess that's better than sending all those people, but you go, the obvious thing is it's not going to stop at the parties. Those drones are going to be in the fucking mix, dude.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, they have the robot dogs that they tested. I didn't actually see them, but I think they did some display with. Remember, they had like 2 of those weird Boston Dynamics robot dogs that are just gonna be like patrolling. I don't know. I think it's probably a while away from that, but the drones are here, I guess. I don't know what they're gonna do with them.
But that is most likely like 10 years from now. It's just everywhere you go, there's fucking drones cooking all around.
Yeah,
probably.
Which
I mean, there's this
feel like I don't
city.
like that.
I think has like I know in the UK is I don't know if it's but like I think this it's cameras everywhere.
London is
everywhere, right? Like
and
isn't London? There's like not like a square inch or something.
There's not, and it's they have TV shows where they show them operating huge big systems, and it has facial recognition stuff.
Everything.
It has like your license plates. Someone drives into London, it clocks your license plate, and they can follow you for the whole day.
Yeah,
they'll follow a car that has a parking ticket for the whole day. They'll show it.
That's fucking crazy.
What everyone's face like that. I remember one night I was coming home drunk actually in England, and I remember hearing like a zzz, and I was like,
the fuck?
and then I looked up and there was a fucking thing. I was on my own drunk, just walking down the street late at night, and I saw the thing, and it's like, zzz, and I was like, what the hell is this? And then I like zooms in and goes, zzz, and I was like, wasted.
Suck it to the drone.
Oh, I saw someone did a prank one time before in England. So it's like that, walking home at night, whatever. He has a spray can. He goes up to a wall. It's like parallel. It's going or whatever, and then like this thing, and so the cops pull up because he was spray painting, and it was just like a aerosol or something. It was like a deodorant.
Oh yeah,
he was just pretending to spray paint on the wall, and then they were like, "Get him, get him, get him!" And he's like, "No, it was just like Axe body spray."
Like, we'll still kick the shit out of you.
Yeah, smack him with a bat. Yeah. But,
Did when you went to Canada, did you have to do like all the facial recognition stuff?
What did you have to do? I mean, I must have, but I don't remember.
When I went, there was right before.
Just at the passport thing?
No, at the gate. I had never seen this before. This is the first time I ever saw this. This would have been at LaGuardia. At the gate. They do like this whole facial recognition thing as like a last ditch, and basically it's for customs, but you're putting your like, it's a whole facial recognition thing for I guess it's US or Canadian customs, I don't know which one, but that I'd never seen before, where you couldn't get through the gate without this whole like, because they obviously take your photo at some point. I mean, they're photographing you the entire time in like the terminal or whatever, but like, show your passport and they like match it up or whatever. But then this was like an actual like biometric.
Well, I'm sorry. I just thought this was America. Maybe I'm crazy.
It was America, Ryan.
They're on you though. I almost got in a fight with a fucking old lady last night, to be completely honest. I actually was. So
okay. Let's go. Okay, I want to hear
this. So I'm taking the Citibike home, right?
Yep.
I get back on one. I've been sort of
this
boycotting them.
Pregnant bitch tries to take his e-bike.
95-year-old pregnant bitch.
I've been boycotting the Citibike for a little bit because you can never find a fucking thing to dock them, right?
Yeah.
You drive home and then you basically I drive back to the studio and drop the bike off.
You got to look at the map to show you where the open ones are.
No, but the problem is
they're broken. I know.
Yes, so
crackheads break the locks.
Why?
Because
to
then
get
what
the bike?
happens? Yes, you don't see people like all, especially where you
Get
live.
better locks. They're really this company needs to get their shit together, dude.
Well, yeah, like especially where you live, you see constantly people are just riding around on city bikes, like they just have city bikes, and you're like, that's like an $800 bike. They're $1,000 what they charge you, but they jimmy the locks. Drunk person comes home, puts it in, and then they think it docks, and then someone goes to the lock they jimmy, pulls it out, and they just have a bike.
Well, I drive home. Like the thing's already like, half a kilometer from my house. So I drive it. That one's blocked off. Then I drive to another one. That one's blocked off. Third one's blocked off. So now it's been like 20 minutes and I'm 2 miles from my house at this point trying to drop this bike off. And then basically someone said that there was one in Stuytown, right?
Yeah.
So I basically was like, okay.
That's in the cages, though,
yeah, so
right?
I was like basically trying to find that one. And I was like kind of like had one foot on my bike, I was like kind of like looking around, like barely moving. And I had looking at the map on my phone. And this lady just walks up and she goes, "Hey, get off your phone when you're on your bike." And she yells at me and I just go, "Why don't you shut the fuck up?" I fucking lost it. I was just like,
right at that moment, it was
wrong
perfect.
time,
Yeah.
lady.
yeah, I was just like, I've been looking for this thing for half an hour. By the way, this is a road that you essentially don't
Yeah, I
drive
know.
on.
Yeah, it's not on a drive.
So
Yeah,
it's no one's on the road. In there's not a single person on this road, car or bike, and she's standing like on the sidewalk, and this Karen,
Oh my God.
decides to yell, and it was a part of me. I was just like, yeah, I wish this was on. I actually was like. You know when you get in a big argument and you're like almost like fantasizing about more things you would have said after? I was like, I wish she like filmed it and tried to shame me for getting mad. Then I could tell my side of the story to the world. Like I was like imagining that would be the scenario where she comes on and she goes, "This guy yelled this at me. Look it." And then I could go, "I'll tell you what actually happened here." This fucking lady.
This fucking hall monitor showed up. Like, what did she get? How old were we talking?
Dude, I thought the Karens were sort of like that. The whole movement turned that down a little bit, but just like, mind your
maybe if you were a
business.
black guy,
That's true.
to
Yeah.
a white guy, that's all they have left.
She's
You're
getting it all out on
yeah,
me.
she's gonna get it all out on you. She's got to unload.
Get off your phone.
How old are we talking?
55.
Oh,
no,
okay.
we're not talking
Okay.
90. Get off your phone, son.
Fat, overweight?
Yeah, they're all a little chubby. Probably 20. She had 20 pounds on her. Like the type of gray hair where it's like just a little,
Yeah.
she's like a little gray, but she's not touching it up.
Yeah,
She doesn't have time for that with all the yelling she's doing at people.
She must have like just an awful life or something. Though, to just yell at someone randomly.
Yeah, what do you care?
It's not like she was driving and you were blocking the road or something like that. And then she was like, "Get the fuck off your phone. I'm gonna drive." She was
Yeah.
just, she's just a goody two shoes.
I mean, I definitely like when I'm biking around the city. If someone's like on their phone and they'll like step into like the bike lane, I will be like, I will say shit. Like I'll yell out as I'm.
Well,
biking.
I'm not, this is if you're in the middle of traffic, everyone's yelling at everyone. That's the vibe of the downtown New York. You know what I mean? Everyone, hey. But like when you're driving through a path at fucking 1 a.m. with no one anywhere to be seen, I don't know why she's even out. It's past her bedtime. The ladies need to keep it together. I'll tell you what. There's another one. I'm a DJ. I breastfeed on stage with one hand and spin with the other. The girls with their fucking titties out are out of control. But I was saying, it is funny also to say that we have a problem in America where the women do not have maternity leave. This girl has to do her DJing gig with. She can't even take 5 minutes off. Her boss at the Astro Festival made her go back to work immediately.
it's like if the article was just like mother brings newborn baby to rave, you'd be like, "Oh my God, what the hell? Go home."
Yeah,
there was the
call
DJ,
social services or whatever.
DJ also just do it before you DJ. Is like critical at that exact moment.
I guess, yeah.
You can't go on any other lineup. You know, like, what? Did you go up early?
You don't have a sing. Yeah.
Also, the kid's like 6.
We know a guy that was a kid that people said he has a kid, and this kid's like 5 or something, and he left him in his car to come to an open mic spot.
Nice. Well, it was July. Nice July, summer's day. Kid was out cold.
I'm telling you, they're out of control though. And then also there's a whole genre of TikTok now where girls are talking about free bleeding. And
again,
it's back.
Wasn't that a prank though? Wasn't that a prank by 4chan?
No, well, yeah, and then like
no, these are real women like doing TikToks, right? You can like
about free bleeding. Yeah, no, but originally the free bleeding.
I think it was a 4chan,
It was a prank.
and then
what was the prank?
So a bunch of people, unfortunately,
to stick it to the patriarchy or
yeah.
some
So
shit.
they would create loads of random.
No, that was from the 70s.
Was it?
Yeah, this was like hippie shit from the 70s.
It got brought. I know what you're talking about. It got brought back recently.
That might be true. Yeah,
and then it wound up on the Sacha Baron Cohen "This Is America."
Yes,
remember with the he was like, "My daughter free bleeds" or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it got back in like the zeitgeist, and then it went away. But I'd never seen any of these TikToks or anything.
Yeah. Well, there's whatever. I guess whatever weird thing that you're into, you can find.
Yeah.
But it's just funny, and she's going on. Basically, the whole deal is she stays home for a week when she's on her period because she's just going to bleed all over everything. And you go, how is empower?
Yeah. I'm in favor of that, then. She's going to stay home for a whole week.
And now you're listening.
All right. That's fine. Let's promote more free bleeding.
The ladies are out of control.
Yeah.
So, listen, we have Colum Tyrrell special on YouTube. How you feeling about the reception? We did a party last night.
Oh, it's been great. Really,
the squad was together.
It's been great.
I donated $2 a super chat.
Yeah, everyone loved it.
Everyone's calling me cheap.
Times are tough right now, huh? Got a lot of money. Wrapped up in.
If I could have donated less, I would have.
I just got a new mic for the street. You know. No, the reception's been great. Please do give it a look. Just go click it. Give it 5 minutes if you like it. Thanks.
Yeah, the Gash Digital specials have all been like really good.
Yeah.
No, Kurt's was super funny.
Kurt's
Lewis,
great.
Dave came out. Now yours.
I will say the only thing that I don't even know if it was supposed to be an insult, but people are just like, not as good as Kurt's. And I was like,
who said that?
Just a few comments like that.
Oh, you're fucking.
No, but it's also like,
I'm sure people on,
but it's also
on the other one said not as good as yours.
Oh, what else are you gonna tell me? I'm not as good looking as Brad Pitt, you fucking dope. So Kurt's like one of the greatest comics. It's not an insult.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, Kurt's great. What are you
there was
talking about?
Kurt's
a senior, great, one of the best comics.
Yeah,
we
he's
have.
so funny.
Yeah.
So for someone to be like not as good as his,
the most underrated comic
what are you
in the world.
talking? Yeah,
for sure.
You could argue that. Yeah.
I can't think of someone that's more underrated than him.
You
for
might be
me,
right.
for
What a
least for my
loser, Kurt, you
sensibilities.
loser.
Get properly rated, you loser.
you unrated loser.
Well, I was like, I mean, yeah, I told you, Kurt, like, dude, that special is so funny. I thought they're all of them are great, dude. Obviously, I think you're one of the funniest comics too.
Yeah,
but
Dave Smith, Louis J. Gomez.
Yeah, this was so funny. And then he texted me. He was like, dude, would you tweet my special out? And I was like, I tweeted it and I posted your video on my grid 3 hours ago and tagged you in both.
Well, he's not on social media.
He just has no idea.
He has like a fucking
But I go just maybe that's a little bit of insight into why it's underrated.
He calls me Callum, and I've never corrected him. But he calls me Callum, and I've texted him, "Hey, this is Colum," blah blah blah, and he goes, "Yeah, of course, Callum." Like he'll respond back, like, and then he
with
sees
a different spelling.
Yeah. Even in text, he calls me Callum.
I think I set that up, didn't I? When you went to LA.
Oh, yeah. He did the podcast when he was out here. That's what it was. Yeah. But he's always called me Callum.
I might have told him you're
And even
Callum.
when I see him.
Yeah, I was going to say Ryan probably said.
Even when I see him, but even when I see him, he's like, Callum! And he gives me a big hug, and I'm like, yeah, okay. I love Kurt. Kurt's a genius.
I agree.
He also so
Dude,
dynamic.
we're just talking about fucking that Sacha Baron Cohen free bleeding stuff. He wrote that, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, you think about that. You just said, that sort of brought back it into the zeitgeist. He wrote that.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? It's kind of like wild to think.
Also, yeah, he could do the sketches, and then he's also doing the.
He was one of the
Jimmy Dore
original.
stuff.
He was one of the original guys that got like dinged also by because there was the big UCB.
Oh yeah, that was
pretty crazy. But
that was a bit nuts, though. In fairness, he didn't really need to die on that hill.
Totally agree, but it was kind of crazy to think about it. Like one of the craziest things, and then we'll get out of here because the UCB basically. There was like a guy that they were saying sexually assaulted people, and then UCB came out against him, being like posted a big statement, and then with no evidence or whatever, and then the guy sued UCB and won a big settlement. Remember that?
Oh, did he win?
Did it? Yeah. Well,
yes, that guy got like paid.
Yeah. Well, their whole thing was UCB was like, and we've taken care of it, and the Kurt's like, maybe like if there's a rape happening, maybe we should get the like police involved.
Yeah. All he said was
instead of just like
UCB court.
settling this internally,
improv court.
Yeah, improv court. Or whatever.
He's like, this is a witch. We can't just. Yeah, we got to go through the proper channels. We can't just accuse this guy and whatever.
Yeah, and then he got like dinged up on
Amy
that.
Schumer had to like fucking
apologize on his behalf and stuff.
Crazy.
That's so funny. She's just like, what? Come on. Why is this on my doorstep right now, Kurt? We don't need this. No one needs this. Say this to your friends at a table. You don't need to go out on Twitter and just destroy all of your relationships.
He doesn't like to see the injustice, dude.
He did go, and even at the very end, he goes, "Oh, the guy definitely is a rapist." I'm just saying, just channels, just proper channels to go. That's all he said. He goes, "No, he definitely raped those girls," but that's not the point. Yeah, that's irrelevant.
That is crazy because this guy, people were all like, "We just don't like what he is guilty, by the way." But
and then he was the pro-rape comedian. Like there were these articles coming out calling Kurt the pro-rape comedian.
Yeah.
Wild, dude. Well, yeah, buy tickets to my my UK tour and Europe when it comes out next Wednesday, and catch us, me and Danny, doing an episode, bonus episode, as always, patreon.com/theboyscast. All right, peace, everybody.
Thank you.